Welcome to Fueling Your Legacy, hosted by Samuel Knickerbocker. Each week, we expose the faulty foundational mindsets of the past and rebuild a new, stronger foundation essential in creating your legacy. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Welcome back to Fuel Your Legacy. Today, we're going to be just introducing a phenomenal topic and giving a few announcements. To start off with the announcements, we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page of what's going on over the next few months. We've got a few events coming up that I'm super excited for, and some more that are in the process of being created. I can't quite announce yet, but it is going to be exciting. Me, personally, I just like speaking in front of people, but also just the ability to impact and help other people is really what we're after. How can we help people achieve confidence in their future, financial confidence in their future, and with the confidence to fuel the legacy that they want to create, a meaningful legacy for them? So first off, October and mid-October, there's going to be an event called Strengthen Your World with Travis Brady, who's hosting that, and I will be speaking there, doing just a whole section on legacy and finance and making sure that people are healing their relationship with debt inside themselves and creating a healthy communication, one with money, but also with others around the money subject. And so that's going to be happening. And then also on November 2nd, I will be hosting my own event called the Legacy and Wealth Workshop. And for that, again, just super excited. If you go ahead and text to the phone number 385-263-7699, and that will be in the show notes here. But if you go ahead and text that number, Legacy and Wealth Workshop, then all one word, then I will be able to get you tickets for the one on November 2nd. And then also if you text the same number, again, I'm going to say it again, it's 385-263-7699. Go ahead and text that number, SYW, Strengthen Your World. Just text SYW, all lowercase, to that phone number, and we'll be able to get you some tickets and get you registered. So super excited for that. Also, this week, phenomenal week. We're going to be talking about relationships, communication, and how we can actually strengthen those relationships. We've got the book review on Wednesday, which is going to be Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And then on Saturday, we're going to be talking to a business attorney who has actually shifted his whole focus into relationship coaching, marriage coaching, and becoming kind of a marriage therapist. He is approaching it. His name's Stan Padgett. He is approaching it from the mindset or the connection of having seen many relationships torn apart in his religious career or in his business career. He's been seeing these relationships be torn apart and how much it costs to get divorced. And it would be so much cheaper and more meaningful if you just learn to communicate. And that's where he loves the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So I'm going to do a book review on that. It's been very comical listening to myself. And then today we're going to introduce that and what things I've found and have learned just in my own relationship. So to dive in, it's always been something that really has been pertinent to me, and I wanted to learn and grow in my own relationship before I ever got married. So I was reading tons of books. For All Eternity, that's one of the books that I read. I read His Needs, Her Needs, and then just tons of psychology books, a lot of personal development books, a lot of relationship books, the 5 Love Languages. All these books I read before I ever even thought about getting married. I was just figuring out, how can I be the best me? How can I create an environment inside of myself that I'm not reliant on somebody else for their love, for me to be okay, for me to be happy. I believe that it's really important for you to be a interdependent person, where you allow somebody else in and you're willing to depend on them, but not codependent. I don't think codependency is super beneficial. Those two terms, they were kind of coined, you could say, by Stephen R. Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But learning how to create a relationship and be on the same page for yourself so that you're actually creating a meaningful legacy, a meaningful relationship. And in the process of that, doing little things day by day that are going to strengthen that relationship, having effective communication, asking the right questions to make sure that you're actually deepening that relationship, so you're not just all surface level. That because of all these things that I focused on before I ever got married, dating was a very interesting experience for me, primarily because as I was dating, I didn't really like the fluffy conversations. I wanted to go deep. I wanted to be asking the questions that were meaningful for me and finding out on a deeper level, hey, am I actually compatible with this person? So many people, they chase the idea, hey, I'm going to fall in love. I want to fall in love with my spouse. And this idea of love kind of, it was Disneyized. I don't know if that's the right word, but Disneyized, and brought into our culture that we should just marry for love. We should just have a relationship for love, with complete disregard for compatibility. The issue comes in, I believe that true love is built over time. True love is something that grows. True love is something that is like a farm. You have to foster it, or a garden. You can have weeds get into it if you aren't careful. You've got to be constantly pulling those weeds, making sure that you're nurturing that relationship. That's true love. Then there's the infatuation, or what some people call the honeymoon phase, where we think we're in love. We think we're really, really into this person, but in reality, it's just something new. It's just something different, and we're excited about that. It's an adrenaline complex, that the push and pull in a relationship, wondering if they like you, if you like them, how far can you push the ladder before they get uncomfortable, and then slowly getting more comfortable with more things, right? All of that's a beginning in a relationship, and it's absolutely essential, but that's not love. And so people, they fall in love, right, in quotations there, they fall in love, and they think that that love that they've fallen into is going to last for forever, without any awareness of compatibility. They haven't even looked to see if they're actually compatible in areas of faith, in fitness, in finance, in child rearing, in sex. I mean, they just haven't really thought about, are we actually compatible as humans? And I think you have to start with compatibility. Once you've established compatibility, then you can grow to love somebody. And that's how I chose to approach my dating relationship. I chose to approach from, okay, am I even compatible with this person? I would give everybody 2 or 3 dates, just because I wanted to make sure that my first impression wasn't ruling over somebody that I might be compatible with. And as I did that, it really helped me see a lot of different women, a lot of different possibilities. And I dated during my heavy dating phase, I'll call it. I dated probably 100 different women. And when I say dated, went on 2 to 3 dates with 100 different women, trying to identify, who is it that I'm actually compatible with? What are things that I like? What are things that I don't like? What are the micro statements that really alter or have a big impact? So I'll share one micro statement with my wife, and this was an interaction, first date, and kind of funny, because I tend to be really, really direct with very little tact, and she gave it right back to me. I loved it. So we had decided, we met online on a Facebook dating app type thing, and we met online. We just had each other's phone numbers. We were texting, and she actually asked me out on the first date, asked me to go to an orchestra concert up in Salt Lake City with her. I was way down. I love orchestra. So I was like, okay, let's do this. But rather than calling each other to find out where each other is on next to the location, because we were driving separately, as I think is a good idea if you're meeting somebody online, show up separately until you know the person. But so that little minor detail. So we showed up separately, and we said, hey, let's find each other based off of our Facebook pictures. Whatever's on Facebook, that's how we have to find each other. A little game. It was fun. Well, I show up, and we've been texting back and forth for about a week. And I'm somebody who really likes deep conversation, wants to get to know somebody, and wants to really engage. So first thing I say to her is, hey, are you Charlotte? Right? That's the first thing. Yes. It was the date. And I said, okay, you suck at texting. And without real hesitation, she said, well, sorry, my phone's not glued to my hand. And I was like, oh, that was poor communication on my part. My objective in saying that, right, translation of what Sam was thinking was, I'd really like to get to know you better, and it's difficult if you don't respond to my messages. That's what I was saying. But what came out of my mouth was, you suck at texting, kind of an accusation, abrasive, very tactless statement. And she, again, responded with, well, my phone's not attached to my hand. And what she meant was, okay, and this is, we've talked about this many times, what she meant was, you're not a priority yet to me, which is fair, right? What if we had started the conversation with me opening with, hey, I'm glad we found each other. I'd really like to get to know you better. And to do that, I like sometimes to text. I wonder if you'd be willing to text me more often, right? And then she could have responded, well, that sounds like a good plan. We'll see how the date goes. As of right now, you're not a priority yet. Very simple conversation, but instead we were saying things that isn't exactly what we meant. So that's a simple example of these micro statements that are happening that we just aren't even aware of how that's happening. A little bit later on the date, after the orchestra, we went and walked around Salt Lake, and I just asked her, hey, let's talk about what are all of your frustrations about dating? What are the things you hated about dating and the dating process? So she just unloaded for about 3 or 4 hours, and we had this awesome discussion about things that we like and we didn't like about our dating experience, and how could we avoid similar experiences in this relationship. And that was a perfect way in my mind to start out our dating relationship. Now, was there a lot of things after that we had to work through, and communication, and still to this day we miscommunicate? That's always going to be a part, I think, to one degree or another. But how can you minimize that? How can you create a healthy communication that when you are miscommunicating, you're actually able to engage and say, hey, it sounds like there was a miscommunication. What was meant by that statement? Those are important aspects of a relationship that for me, I believe that's what's contributed most to the success of Charlie and I's relationship is a healthy communication. We don't always agree. We're not always happy with each other. And sometimes we don't communicate our feelings, and then we have this growing wedge between. All those things are true. We're not this unicorn relationship, but for the most part, we've created a healthy environment where each of us feels confident in being able to bring up our feelings without being accused of our feelings being invalid. And that is really what we are focused on in the relationship, our relationship. The next step is how can we make that even more effective, more engaging, more exciting. And that's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday with the book review of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And then Stan Padgett on Friday, It's Life-Changing. He actually does a quiz so you can kind of gauge how good your relationship is with your spouse. And I would strongly encourage you to, as you go through that on Friday, sit down with pen and paper and listen to that, answer those questions to yourself, and then seek for ways to improve. So with that being said, we're excited. We're going to move on to the week, but don't forget to rank and review this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and then also the events coming up. I'm going to say that phone number one more time if you missed it. Maybe you were driving, whatever the case may be. The phone number is 385-263-7699. And if you text either Legacy Wealth Workshop or SYW to that number, then you can get access to the Strengthen Your World event that's happening in October. And then on November 2nd is going to be the Legacy and Wealth Workshop. So love to see you there. Super excited for things that are happening and how we can build a crusade and help people all together move forward with what's meaningful to them and build a meaningful legacy. So with that being said, we'll catch you next time on Fuel Your Legacy. Thanks for joining us today. If what you heard resonated with you, please like, comment, and share on social media. Tag me so I can give you a shout out on the next episode. And thanks to all those who have left a review. It helps spread the message of what it really takes to build a legacy that lasts. Catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy.